remember we had one other table which was in Excel. That's why we didn't download it in the initial format. So now we need to download them. So if we want to download anything from the Excel, the first criteria for the Excel file is that the data in that Excel file has to be in table format. So what is the table format? Let me open this file and then I will show you. So in this file, you will see there are two sheets. One is tables and one is budget. And all of them are like this green, this blue header, and with the one highlight, one unhighlighted row. This is called table format. Means they are actually identified as table. So there are two type of table in Excel. You can say that I have the fruit and the quantity. Fruit is apple, quantity is 10, fruit is grapes, quantity is 20. This is also a table, right? In Excel, if you just convert it into a table, into this sheets, table, all borders. Yeah, now you can see. So now you can see this is another table, correct? But this is not a table format. It's just a cell values identified into the Excel. If we download this, we will not be able to upload it into the Power BI. So we will save it just for a demonstration purpose. And the other one is a table format. So normally when we want to convert anything into table format, we click on the table and press Control T. So it will always come into table format. And the way to check is the look at the table design tab. If you click on it, you will see table design tab open here, and you will see the table name also. So also it's better to have a table name, proper table name, like table name is D sales rep, this table name is D product, this table name is D category, this table name is D supplier, and this is not a table. That's why there is no power, there's no ribbon here for table format, and there's no table name. That's why it's there's no table here, right? And in the next tab, we have a budget. So we click on it, we go to table design, and then you see there's a table 6. What is table 6? When you have multiple tables in the Excel file and you are uploading it to Power BI, you will not know what it is. So you need to name the table as something useful, and this is budget. So we will say this is D budget. That's our nomenclature. Never, whenever we are uploading anything which is not a fact table, we always denominate as either D means dimension, D for dimension, not D for data, D for dimension table, and we name the table as this is D sales rep, this is the product details, this is the category details, this is the supplier details. Now we are ready to import it. So we click it, we leave it as it is for on purpose just to see how Power BI recognizes this or not. So we go to Excel workbook, click on Excel workbook, and now we need to find the table. The table is in our folder sales underscore CSV. It's only one Excel. So we click it, click open on it. Now Power Query will automatically recognize how many tables are there. So there are already circulated. So you can click on it and see what is the table and say, do you want to import it? Click yes, I want to import it. D category, we want to import it. This is our table. D product, this is our table. We click on it. D supplier rep, we want it. We take it. D table, which we wanted again, we can take it. And now table 5. Uh, oops, again, this is squared. So what was it? We already had it, I think. D product. Yeah, we already have a product. So we don't need table 5 because it's a duplicate thing. Sorry, this is budget. So we have a budget already. So table 5 and tables. These are all the tables, so we don't need that. This is the table for the budget that we have created. Even though we changed the name, it did not take up, it did not pick it up. So we just click OK. We want this, and there is no. You can see now there is no requirement that. So this is the whole table on the tables. This is the sheet name, budget, and the tables. And you will see there is another suggested table, table 1, which is on the tables tab, and this is where we put juice and red graphs. Because this is not in the table format, it was not included in here. It was just as a suggested, because Power BI is intelligent, query is intelligent, and it's identified there this is the potential table. But the best practice is to always have it as a table. So since we don't want to import this, we will not click on it. And now we have got our tables which we want to import, and then we will click on transform data. It will work on it, and then it will import all of these into the Power Query editor. And we will see now we have F sales, D budget, D category, D product, D sales rep, D supplier, and table. Now this table is actually a budget, so we will change the name here again, D budget. Oops, a query name D budget already exists. Oh, we already have a budget. Sorry. Okay, let me see what it is. Oh yes, this budget is by the sales rep. So we can say D budget sales rep, and this table is by the budget, the budget product. So now we have all these tables. What do we do next? The next step was to get if you remember, next step was to get the relationships, because this table has nothing else to do. This budget table is done, category table, there's nothing else to do here. Now we have this category ID, product ID, and everything else. Now the next step for us is to close and apply. We will come back to it later because we have something else to cover on. And we will now load them and manage the relationship between these tables, because these are individual tables, they are not linked yet. And as we have learned in the past, we need to be able to have a relationship between them. So now you will see, oops, there is always a relationship, right? Why is it that? Because the Power Query has already established some relationships between them by their own intelligence. So you can see there are so many relationships going around, right? So let's sort this table into a little bit better way so that it's easier. So fact sales is the main table that is connected with everyone. So let's put it in the center, and we hide this so that we can get it a little bit bigger view. So the fact sales is the first table that we want to do. Then the supplier table is something which is linked with something. I don't know where it is. D product is linked here. Budget by the product we can link here. And then we have budget by sales rep. So sales rep we need to link into this. We need to keep here. And what do we have? We have category. Category is in the products, so we can leave it as it is. And then we have sales rep. So we have sales rep here. Is there anything else that we have left? So we are done. Now you can see this file is linked with the supplier. So let's put the supplier into this. Oops. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Fact sales. So the sales table is linked with it's so many tables here. That's why I have to arrange it just to show it around. How is it working? So now you can see this one table is linked with three tables: category, product category, supplier, and the budget, its own budget. Correct? And why they are linked together is because of their names or because of their category ID. So the Power BI has already recognized, if you click on manage relationships, you will be able to see how they are recognized, how they are done. Like this, these two tables are linked by product ID. These two tables are linked by category ID. These are by supplier ID. These are by supplier sales ID, product ID, and sales rep ID. Because it has already identified, yes, this is these are the possible links they have already created. If you don't want to keep some relationship, you can remove them. But now you can see this budget is already done. Now, sales rep is not linked directly with the F sales because it's linked with the product ID here, sales rep, with the sales rep ID. Sales rep is there, sales rep is here, and then sales rep is here. So that's how it's connected. But this kind of connection from one table to another table to another table is called a snowflake uh, table diagram, which is not ideal for Power BI. Power BI works best with star schema. So let me show you if I have that. So yeah, relationships are one to many, which you have already learned. Then star schema or snowflakes. So this is the snowflakes which we have at the moment, where one fact sales is connected with the dimension table, and that dimension table is another connected with another dimension table. So these kind of relationships are not ideal. These type of relationships are not ideal for the Power BI analysis because it takes multiple relationships. The best way of the analysis is to use the star schema, where one the fact table is connected with multiple dimensions, but not the dimension table is again connected with the other dimension table. There are certain exceptions where it works, and we have to use them because we have no other way. But ideally, as a primary key, you should be trying to achieve the star schema because that's the most easiest way, and that's the most effective way for Power BI's performance as well. Otherwise, it will take a long time for Power BI to calculate the relationship from here to here to here. Right? It's multiple steps. But if we connect all the fact sales with individual dimension tables, it's much more easier. So that's the better way of connections. So how we achieve that? Now we need to see maybe some of the queries, maybe we don't need. For example, if we look at this, there's only one category and category ID, and the category ID is here. Why do we need a category ID and category ID when we only have a category name? So we can merge this and keep only one table. Supplier, do we need supplier's email address and everything else? Maybe we don't need. We just need supplier name and maybe their state, and then we can merge this into the product table. So that would be one way of reducing the number of tables. So let's do that. So how do we do that? One way is do it in Excel and combine it, and load it before you and do it before you combine it. But that's not what we want to learn. We want to learn how we do it in Power BI. So we go again, transform data. For this purpose, we are going to use something called merge query. So what queries we want to merge? So we want to merge the product query with the uh, category, product ID, category ID, and supplier ID. So we want to combine the product category and product. So we click on the product. We go to merge queries. So here you have merge queries on the combine section. So come click on merge query on the drop box, merge queries. So the it will ask you which query you want to merge. So it will give you a choice. So let's say we want to merge the D category combined. So now we know this is combined. So we need to click how we are going to merge. What is the common thing? So that common thing is category ID and category ID. So we need to click on both category ID and category ID here. So that is the common key between the two queries or two tables, so to speak. Uh, and the join kind is left outer means all of the first data we need and only the matching record from the second. So that's again another type. We have multiple types here. Right outer means all from the second and match from the first. So if we choose this match right out, it will keep this category, keep this table and bring the data from here to this table. But we don't want that, right? We want the data from the second table to be gone to the first table. So we need to choose the left outer, all from the first and matching from the second. Click OK. So what it will create? It will create another column automatically in this as D category. Of course, the name is not correct because the name is the file name here. And there's a little icon here again to expand the data, because at the moment you will see is show table as a input. We don't want the name of it. So we need to click on this little expand icon. Click on expand icon, and then it will ask you what you want to expand, what you want to import. You want to import everything, or you want to import category ID, or you want to import the category itself. So we say no, we don't want anything. We want only category, means the category name. It will use original common name as prefix. We don't want, so we remove it, and then we click OK. Now it's changed. It has taken the data from the category to the category ID here, and we can change it to category name. Correct. Uh, Now we have category name and category ID. Maybe we don't need both of them. We just can hide this column from the choose columns. So we don't need category ID. So let's remove it. And this query we don't need anymore, right? So we can right click on this query and say enable load. We can uncheck enable load. We don't need to delete this. We should not delete this. We just say enable in the enable load means we will not possible loss because we have already loaded. If we click this, it will remove the loaded things from the Power BI module. So we click continue because we know we want to delete it. So now the D category will not be shown and will not be available in the Power BI desktop because we have already removed it from here. Now the next thing, same we will do it for supplier. So I will do it quickly. Merge queries. It will ask which query we want to merge. We want supplier, and we want it based on the supplier ID and supplier ID, and we click OK, and we expand. We don't want anything. We want only supplier name. That's it. For now, we don't need anything else. We got supplier name. We click on supplier name, and we can remove the supplier ID column here because that's not useful anymore. And we will hide it as well. So enable load, we remove the enable load, possible data loss, that's fine. Now we have only few columns here. Sales rep, because the sales rep is not anywhere else, we just need to keep it. Now we close and apply. Now you will see all the data is gone except the F sales, which is available still here, the sales rep and the data rep. Well, this budget is we are going to use at a later stage. So ideally, our sales rep table should be directly linked with the F sales, because this is the most useful at the moment. Budget we will deal later. So we can leave it like this, or we can link with the sales rep by hiding the sales rep here and putting on the sales rep. So now we have created a relationship here, and we will remove this relationship for the time being. Okay, yeah, this is not being used, so we need to make it use. Make this relationship active. When the relationship is dot dot, it means it's not going to be used. But so we need to make sure that we click on this, and we can check it out by clicking on manage relationship whether it's active or not. So now we are left with only four relationships, but between the budget and the product, that's fine. Between the sales rep and the fact and the sales rep budget, that's fine. Between the two with the fact sales table, sales with the product, sales with the rep ID. So that's what we wanted, and we have these two relationship which are active. If we want, because we are not using the budget for the time being, we can make these relationship inactive, but the relationship will still be there. So we can close it. Now it will turn into a dot dot line, right? It will not be an active relationship, but the relationship will still be there. To understand why we are not linking with the budget directly with the fact sales, we have to understand another concept in Power BI tables is called granularity, which I will explain now. So if you see on the table view, oops, there is one more thing that we left. We didn't unpivot the table, so let's do that also. I forgot about it. So we have learned already about how we unpivot the tables, because you see here the product is here, but the table names are the month are on the columns, which we definitely don't want. So we need to right click and transform the data, refresh, not edit the query. We select product ID and product column, go to transform, click on unpivot other columns, and it will unpivot. Now here we have a column which is called year, month, month and year, and the value and the budget, product budget. This is product budget, right? So this is one query, and the other one was the sales rep budget. So we need to do the same for it. Sales rep ID, sales rep, and we need to unpivot the data, unpivot other columns. We will do the same. Month, year, and budget, product. Sorry, budget, sales rep, so that we know this is sales rep budget. Okay, now we got this thing. Uh, there is one more thing which is very important in which is missing in our relationship now. Also, let's do the close and apply first and see how does it impact. Hmm. Duplicate value. Okay, so There is some duplicate values. I think we need to remove. Oops, sorry, it's creating a problem. Close. Let me remove the relationship first. That might be the creating problem. And then we go back into the transform data to see if we have done it right. Product ID, sales rep ID, I think is fine. Let's try again. Now it's done. It was not able to done because we had created relationships. Now we have, since we removed the relationships, then that's why it's able to save. So now we have these two tables again, but we will not be able to create any relationship because there is no unique value between the sales rep and the sales rep ID. There is a sales rep ID, so we can create sales rep ID, but let's not create the relationship now, otherwise it will give errors. So uh, the next thing, before we go into the budget, so why we are not able to use the budget with the fact sales is because of the granularity. So I was trying to explain this product is on a product level and is by the month, so budget is for each month, while the fact table, if you see on the fact table, we click on the fact table, fact sales, this is by the date, by the transaction number itself. So it's not by the month. So that there is a difference in the granularity. Means this the flexible is by date. The grain is date. Every single transaction. Even on one date, there may be multiple transactions. So that's why it's by the transaction level, not by the date level, right? It could be, it may be in this table, it's one product is on one date, but it could be by the transaction itself, where you may have multiple product sale on the same day. So means the grain is transaction level, but the budget, our budget here is not by the transaction level, is by the month. That's why we cannot link these two tables. We cannot create any relationship between these two tables. Even if we create that by somehow creating a unique ID, and we will still not be able to use it in visualization. Since the time is not that very much that we have, we will not be going into that much of super details. Otherwise, we will left with our with our things that we want to cover up. Now the next thing before we cover the, let me see what else we have. So this was the example of the granularity that I wanted to explain.